Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. The Walking Dead, Season 6. The sixth season of The Walking Dead, an American post-apocalyptic horror television series on AMC, premiered on October 11, 2015 and concluded on April 3, 2016, consisting of 16 episodes. Developed for television by Frank Darabont, the series is based on the eponymous series of comic books by Robert Kirkman, Tony Moore, and Charlie Adlard. The executive producers are Kirkman, David Alpert, Scott M. Gimple, Greg Nicotero, Tom Luse, and Gale Anne Hurd, with Gimple as showrunner. For the third consecutive season, the sixth season received positive reviews by critics. It was nominated for multiple awards and won 3, including Best Horror Television Series at the 42nd Saturn Awards. This season adapts material from issues 8100 of the comic book series, and introduces notable comic characters including Heath, Denise Cloyd, Dwight, Paul Jesus, Rovia, Gregory and Negan. Following Pete's death, the season continues the story of Rick Grimes and his group of survivors who must take a step back from the violence they've come to embrace, as multiple threats lead them to adopt a mindset of hardness. The first half of the season focuses on the group still having trouble assimilating in the Alexandria safe zone, leading the community through a series of crises, including luring the threat of a massive herd of walkers away from a nearby quarry, an attack by dangerous scavengers known as the Wolves, and the invasion of a gargantuan swarm of walkers inside Alexandria. The second half of the season focuses on the group's discovery of a new survivor community, the Hilltop Colony, who they make allies with, and becoming adversaries of a vast organization of hostile survivors known as the Saviors. Production. On October 7, 2014, AMC renewed The Walking Dead for a sixth season. Scott M. Gimple revealed that the sixth season would continue to remix material from the comic, and explained that there would be a flashback backstory to some of the characters. There are other people that we're going to see throughout the season from the comics, and I'm excited for people to see it, but I don't want to tell them now. I think a few minor remixes, but some direct stuff from the comic as well. As far as these characters go, I think there's a really cool aspect to the first half of the season that serves almost as a prequel to some direct comic stuff in the second half of the season. I think there's a way that Robert did some of the story that we're reaching that had a real past to it, where people are referring to some things in the past in the comic, and we're able to portray some of that backstory in some ways that you didn't get to see in the comic. Filming. Filming for the season began in Senora, Georgia in early May 2015 and concluded on November 17, 2015. The season contains 3 extended episodes airing in expanded 90-minute time slots. The season premiere, the 4th episode, and the season finale. Casting. 3 new actors were cast to portray new characters in the 6th season, including Corey Hawkins as Heath, a prominent and long-running comic book character who is a supply runner and loyal friend to Glenn Rhee. Merritt Weaver joined the cast in the role of comic book character Dr. Denise Cloyd, while Ethan Embry also joined the cast. In September 2015, Xander Berkeley was announced in an unknown recurring role that would debut during the second half of the season, and Berkeley has an option for series regular for the 7th season. In January 2016, Berkeley's role was confirmed to be Gregory, a character from the comics. Tom Payne joins the cast as Hilltop Colony recruiter Paul Monroe. On November 10, 2015, it was announced that Jeffrey Dean Morgan had been cast as Negan, Alana Masterson, who portrays Tara Shambhala, took maternity leave from the season in the episode Not Tomorrow Yet, as she was 9 months pregnant during the time of filming the episode. She is absent from the final 4 episodes, and it is explained through her character going on a 2-week supply run. Critical response. The 6th season of The Walking Dead has received positive reviews from critics. On Metacritic, the season holds a score of 79 out of 100, indicating generally favorable reviews. Based on 10 critics, on Rotten Tomatoes the season holds a 78%, with an average rating of 7.35 out of 10 based on 23 reviews and an average episode score of 78%. The site's critical consensus reads, 6 seasons in The Walking Dead is still finding ways to top itself despite slow patches that do little to advance the plot. Matt Fowler, for IGN, gave a 6.8/10 rating for the season as a whole. In summary, he said, Walking Dead Season 6 had some big, effective moments while also crumbling under an avalanche of fake-outs. He praised the Morgan flashback episode in Carol's arc and the string of great, violent episodes in the second half of the season. His major criticisms of the season were Glenn's death and other cheap fake-outs, unnecessary cliffhangers, and characters clumsily steered into making dumb choices. Glenn's fake death in the 3rd episode, Thank You, was a major source of controversy. The Hollywood Reporter heavily criticized the decision of the writers to create the storyline. Daniel Feinberg felt apathetic about the decision and said, I'm not sure I care about the way his death would impact the ensemble. If he's dead, the loss will be felt most by Maggie, but Maggie just had her sister die a few episodes ago. So there's no variation anymore to making Lauren Cohan wail, no matter how entirely convincingly she does it. To me, The Walking Dead has lost whatever core of human relationships it ever had, and whether Glenn lives or dies, it just feels mechanical now. Tim Goodman expressed shock over the concept of Glenn potentially being alive, saying, I honestly don't think showrunner Scott M. Gimple is dumb enough to fake this death somehow, not with how implausible it would be for Glenn to survive it. The Hollywood Reporter later declared that the show had lost its credibility when Glenn was revealed to be alive in the 7th episode Heads Up. Scott Gimple responded to the controversy surrounding this. He said, We've had instances of people in a very emotional state, Tyrese jumping into the middle of a large herd and fighting his way out, a man cut off his own hand and fights his way through a department store full of walkers. These things are part of the world. Glenn had the bad luck of being knocked off that dumpster by Nicholas, ending his own life. But Glenn had the good luck of Nicholas landing on him. There's a lot of very specific facts about it that I think a lot of people have sort of gotten wrong. But breaking it down, shot for shot, I think we're past that point. I don't think this is any sort of new instance that broke the rules of our show at all. I think it's very much in line with everything we've done before. I don't think there's a credibility issue. Eric Hain, for Forbes, felt that the decision ruined Glenn's storyline. He declared Season 6 a mixed bag, and was frustrated with the decision to hold off Glenn's fate for 3 episodes. He said, The showrunners spent 3 more episodes essentially refusing to move the plot forward. We got 1 good backstory and then 2 episodes where almost nothing happened to anyone we cared about. We learned that Maggie was pregnant and that's about all. When speaking of the confirmation of Glenn being alive, Kane felt the decision was implausible. From the inconsistency of his fallen camera angle tricks. He also felt the decision to drag it out for weeks had effectively killed off all the tension. At the end of episode 3, Brian Moylan of The Guardian was also critical, saying, "Glenn is alive, and The Walking Dead will never be the same. It would rather kill off a main character than pull a lame switcheroo." Until now, while the first half of the season received heavy criticism, many of the episodes in the second half were critically acclaimed. The episode No Way Out, which resolved all previous cliffhangers, was widely acclaimed. The Next World received highly positive reviews for its lighter tone and the romance between protagonist Rick Grimes and Michonne by fans and critics alike, notably The Guardian and the AV Club. Subsequent episodes received praise, notably the episode Not Tomorrow Yet. The Same Boat was lauded for its strong female focus. Jeremy Egner of The New York Times commented positively on Carol's character development. He adulated the complexity of Carol's division between ruse and real emotions, saying, "Like always, Carol did whatever necessary to survive and protect her cohorts, and did so in particularly brutal fashion, but she seems increasingly unable to avoid reckoning with the toll. Are you okay?" Daryl asked when he arrived. "No," she responded. And that was before Rick executed the remaining savior right in front of her. It's going to take more than a few Hail Marys to make that image among many others go away. The finale, Last Day on Earth, received largely mixed to negative reviews, with many criticizing the cliffhanger. It sparked backlash on social media from fans and critics alike. While Jeffrey Dean Morgan's performance as Negan was praised, the episode was mostly criticized for its cliffhanger ending. On Rotten Tomatoes it holds a 43%, with an average rating of 6.55 out of 10 based on 30 reviews. The episode's critical consensus reads, "Despite Jeffrey Dean Morgan's deliciously evil turn as Negan, the meandering Last Day on Earth, and its manipulative cliffhanger ending, make for a disappointing season finale." Zach Handelin of the AV Club gave the episode a C, the lowest grade given by the site for the show to date, and commented, "The problem is almost everything else. We'll get to Negan, and that's so idiotic it's actually kind of hilarious cliffhanger in a second, but before we do, let's unpack the many ways Last Day on Earth went wrong. Even the title is bad, not on its own." Todd Vanderwerf of Vox gave the episode a negative review, calling it the worst episode of the show so far and commenting, "The extra-long episode spent its first hour dramatizing all the excitement of your GPS, insisting that you take a road you already know is closed. And the last half hour sank some nicely spooky moments with a too-long monologue and a completely botched cliffhanger." However, he gave a positive review on Negan's introduction. Accolades. For the 42nd Saturn Awards, the sixth season of The Walking Dead received 7 nominations and 3 wins. The wins were for Best Horror Television Series, Best Supporting Actress on Television, and Best Performance by a Younger Actor in a Television Series. The nominations were for Best Actor on Television, Best Supporting Actress on Television, and Best Guest Starring Role on Television. The season also received 2 Primetime Emmy Award nominations for the 68th Primetime Creative Arts Emmy Awards, which were for Outstanding Prosthetic Makeup, for a Series Limited Series Movie, a Special, and Outstanding Special Visual Effects in a Supporting Role. Additionally, the season was also nominated for Outstanding Performance by a Stunt Ensemble in a Television Series at the 22nd and 23rd Screen Actors Guild Awards, for both halves of the season respectively. For his portrayal of Negan, Jeffrey Dean Morgan earned himself a nomination and win for Best Guest Performer in a Drama Series at the 7th Critics' Choice Television Awards for his appearance in the Season 6 finale, in addition to the first half of Season 7. Ratings. The Walking Dead sixth season premiere received 14.63 million viewers in its initial broadcast on AMC in the United States. The viewership slightly declined from the previous season's record-breaking premiere and the fourth season premiere, but was the most-watched television series of the night. The season finale received a 6.9 rating in the key 18-49 demographic, with 14.19 million total viewers, and was a significant increase from the previous episode, which received a 5.9 rating and 12.38 million total. This was also significantly lower than the ratings for the fifth season finale, which was watched by 15.78 million American viewers, with an 18-49 rating of 8.2. Live 7 ratings were not available, so Live 3 ratings have been used instead. Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Would you like to know more?